It is finally here. After so long, episode 1 of The Promised Neverland has finally aired upon us. And my God, was it absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely loved every minute of it. Now, I very rarely give anything a perfect score, a 10 out of 10. But honestly, I have to for this episode. I honestly think they did it so much justice. I even think it was better than the manga. It covered the entirety of chapter 1, and I think it did it even better than the original chapter did in the source material. And that's really hard to do. There's very few anime, I think, that adapt the manga better than the manga actually did. And this, judging off this one episode, mind, obviously the entire series, it could just take an absolute nosedive and turn out shit as anything else. But this one episode, as a pilot episode, was incredible. Now, as a manga reader, I'm going to be trying my very, very best for all of you anime onlys not to spoil anything, because I don't want to spoil much for you guys, because honestly, it would ruin so much if you knew. And obviously that's kind of like obvious, but this is the type of series you want to know as little as you possibly can when going into it. Now, obviously, I would have expected you to have watched episode 1 at this point, because we're going to have a little discussion about it, but I won't be spoiling anything that could appear in future episodes. Anyway, a lot of people have already been chatting about this on Twitter and elsewhere, saying that it's anime of the year already. And listen, I'm an absolutely avid Neverland fan, and I thought the opening episode was flawless almost. But I think a lot of people are kind of jumping ahead of themselves, calling it anime of the year. Okay, it's been one episode. There's still 91% of the series still to be shown in this season. So maybe people should kind of, sit back for a minute and wait a little bit. I think that's the main thing. Wait. It's been episode 1, and like I said, there's still 11 more episodes. It could easily turn out atrocious by the end of it. So we'll see. Is it an anime of the year contender? If they animate it properly, it's by far a contender, and may well be anime of the year. But a lot of people calling it already. Hold your horses there for a second, I think. I thought the use of the music within this episode was fantastic. The soundtrack was exactly how I expected it to be, and more. I loved the soundtrack of when they were taking the exams. I didn't expect it to be like that, but it suited it perfectly. The soundtrack right at the very end, the very last one that they played, was beautiful. I've seen lots of people saying that it really made them feel very emotional, and it did me too. I thought it was a brilliant piece to add to what was already an incredibly heartbreaking scene, if you'd call it that. The use of the music was fantastic as well, creating a sense of suspense and shock. For example, that scene of Emma and Norman and everyone just playing tag, and when Emma's trying to find Norman and she's just walking up to a tiny little fence, but the use of the music, the angles, the animation, just the whole vibe around the entire scene, despite knowing that nothing really at all was going to be at the end of that scene, I still was on the edge of my seat and felt a perfect blend of curiosity and suspense going into it, thanks to the way the music was used within the scene. While we're on the topic of music, I think I'll bring up the opening and ending, because wow, when they teased parts of the opening, when they announced that Overworld were going to be doing it, I honestly thought, I don't know if this fits the premise of The Promised Neverland personally, but honestly, I take back what I said. When paired with the animation throughout the opening, it fits almost perfectly. I still think the ending is a better fit to the series than the opening, but the opening has really surprised me. It's fantastic. It's Overworld, so it's always going to be fantastic, mind. But it went with The Promised Neverland a lot more than I expected it to. I honestly thought that I wouldn't be a huge fan of the opening because I didn't think it'd portray Promised Neverland as well as it could do. I was also surprised that they actually used the opening in this episode. I was fully expecting them to have no opening at all in this episode and they'd show it in episode 2 because I thought they'd have some sort of lead or tie-in or feature of the monsters, of the demons, but they did a great job of keeping things incredibly spoiler free while also kind of hinting and giving slight vibes and foreshadowing of what is to come that I think mainly the manga readers picked up on. Honestly, the big twist, the big reveal, it was done absolutely perfectly, and honestly I don't think I could have asked for anything better. As a manga reader, and I think I speak for all manga readers out there that have read The Promised Neverland, that we've been waiting for that scene to be animated now for so long, and to finally see it animated and done so damn well was absolutely stunning. Almost brought a damn tear to my eye. It was that freaking incredible to look at. But the way that they built up the suspense of Connie's body while still kind of keeping an almost light-hearted attitude within it, and then taking that sudden twist as soon as the bunny dropped. Oh, it was stunning. The sound effects within the scene, the animation, everything about it was top-notch. The demons aren't CGI either, which I didn't really worry about too much, but there was that small part of me that thought, are they going to make the demons CGI? Because if they do, I don't think I'll be able to take the scene as seriously as I should be. Now, that's not to mean that CGI can't look good in anime. For example, Attack on Titan, I think CGI is done really well within Attack on Titan, but you do get those parts, those features of CGI where it just looks absolutely atrocious. And honestly, if they did that to the demons, I think I would have cried. I would have. This review would not be slightly as positive as it is right now. I probably would have been digging into the damn studio for ruining what would have been an iconic scene. But honestly, they did it so well. The demons looked incredible. That one little frame almost. It was on the screen for like a second, but of the demon taking a breath with his long tongue coming out, I thought, wow, they've made them look even scarier than they did in the damn manga. And honestly, they look incredible in the manga. And I thought, no, there's no way they're going to be able to capture the ferocity and the absolute terrifying manner that is the demons and capture that well in the anime. There's no way they'll make them look, act, move, or even sound as horrifying as they actually are. And obviously, the sound, you can't hear sound in manga, but you can imagine it in your head and you start to build up an idea of what they sound like. And honestly, everything they did in the anime for the demons was perfect. They looked incredible, they were terrifying, they weren't CGI, and that's the most important bit. I think right at the beginning of the episode, or the first half of the episode anyway, until the big reveal, they did an absolutely incredible job of keeping that light-hearted attitude throughout with the hints of the dark twist to come. We had right at the beginning, we had the focus on the number codes on their neck, and we had them saying how none of the orphans that have left have ever sent letters, and it does ring alarm bells in your head. You do start to think, right, it's a little bit weird, but I'm sure it's not that bad. You definitely don't expect it to be that they're not being sent to new families, they're literally being killed on sight by these mysterious demonic beings. That on the list of things to expect, that was pretty damn low down, I think it's safe to say. So they did a great job with that. Personally, slight nitpicks. I do feel as though, and this may just be from a manga reader's perspective, the focus on the such intense focus anyway on the necks maybe was a bit too much foreshadowing. Now, I can't 100% remember if it was quite like that in the manga. I think the panels, if they were there, were a lot smaller and a lot less noticeable. But in the anime, they went full force, shoving them right in your face. And I'll have to know what you anime onlys, if you're watching, what you thought of that. Did it become a bit of a giveaway of something to come? or was it pretty on the low and it's just as a manga reader and knowing what was coming, that's why I picked up on it? I don't know. I'd love to know what people's opinions were on all of that, because it's a slight nitpick I've got, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bring down the rating I have for this episode at all. And then, like I've already said, I thought it was a better adaptation than the manga, and if they keep it up, I think it's going to be one of those anime which it is better than the manga, at least in my opinion. Other animes like that, I think, for example, My Hero Academia, I think the anime for that is much better than the manga, and I think if they keep this up, The Promised Neverland will be better than the manga. And honestly, that's saying something, because the manga is absolutely fire, week in, week out. This first arc is probably the best opening arc I've potentially ever read, especially easily in shonen, and it may even be the best opening arc I've read, full stop. I'm not too sure, but it's definitely within my top 3, top 5, no less than that, favourite arcs of all time. This first arc, first 12 episodes, is going to cover the first arc, and honestly guys, it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those ones where in 10 years time, it's going to have that same legendary status as what Death Note does today. You can quote me on that one, because I really, really, truly think it will do. But honestly, I've just got to say, the adaptation of the chapter, it was emotionally and visually stunning, perfect, and I loved every single minute of it. But I really want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Also, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Senpai Squad, and I will see you guys in another video. But until then, peace.